Hello everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I wanted to share with you guys one of my all-time favorite taco recipes. I'll be making birria style beef tacos stuffed with slow cooked beef and tons of cheese. You guys are going to love these from the very first bite. And if you haven't had birria tacos before, you are totally missing out on one of the best tacos out there. We're going to start by slow cooking some beef roast seasoned with tons of aromatic spices in a beef broth. And then once the beef is cooked, it should be really tender, just kind of fall apart, melt in your mouth texture. We're going to stuff our tortillas with the beef, add lots of cheese, and then fry the tacos on your stove top. I like to serve these with a little bit of fresh lime juice, some cilantro, red onion, and a simple cabbage slaw. You can also include any of your favorite toppings like guacamole, sour cream, or salsa. These are simply divine, and I always have to make a double batch because my husband eats half the tacos in the first sitting. They're that good. Now today's recipe is not 100% authentic Mexican, slightly more simplified version of birria beef, but it's one that works for me in my kitchen, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. Don't forget to head down into that video description box for the recipe link. Meanwhile, let's get started. I want to start with 1.5 pounds of beef roast. I've cut mine down into these large chunks, and I want to go for a fattier cut of beef roast. All that extra fat is going to add tons of great flavor. Cover the beef with about 1/4 cup of avocado oil. Add in some ground black pepper, about 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of sea salt, 2 teaspoons of chipotle chili powder, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of dried garlic, 1 teaspoon of dried onion, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of coriander, and 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Mix this all together and making sure that that beef is really well coated all over. I'll be using a slow cooker for cooking my beef today. You can also make this recipe using an Instapot or a pressure cooker, or you can even slow cook it on your stovetop over a really low heat. I'm going to place my seasoned beef into my Instapot cooker. Or wait, this is a slow cooker. All right, add in 1 large sliced onion. I just sliced it into large pieces. And then pour in 3 to 4 cups of water. You want the beef to be well covered. And if all the liquids evaporate during the cooking process, you want to make sure to add more. You want to have lots of that incredible broth at the end. Let's set this up in our slow cooker. If you're using a slow cooker like I am today, you'll want to let the beef cook for 8 to 9 hours on the high setting until it's really tender. You can kind of pull the meat apart with 2 forks. If you're using an Instapot or a pressure cooker, I would go with like a braised meat setting, maybe about 45 minutes to an hour. And if you're using the stovetop, you'll want to bring the mixture up to a boil first, cover your pan or pot with a tight fitting lid, and then reduce the heat down to the lowest setting. Let it slowly cook away for about 3 to 4 hours, and make sure to add more water if needed. I like to serve these tacos with a really simple cabbage slaw. You can use red cabbage, green cabbage, or a combination of both like I'm using today. Add a bit of chopped cilantro. Squeeze in some fresh lime juice. Add a little touch of salt, a bit of oil, and toss this all together. Before pulling this slow cooked beef apart, I'm going to drain off all this incredible broth. Just strain it through a fine mesh strainer into a separate pot. And that broth that we just strained is incredibly aromatic and so rich and flavorful. Adds incredible flavor to the tacos. So you want to make sure you strain as much of it as you can and keep it on the side. And then either use your hands or 2 large forks and pull apart the meat into small little pieces. It just falls apart in your hands. So incredibly tender. Can't wait to dig in and enjoy these tacos. They're so good. All right, let's make some tacos. I've got my shredded beef here on the side, and I'm going to be using 2 different types of cheeses. I have some grated mozzarella cheese and some crumbled queso fresco. This is a soft, crumbly, salty Mexican cheese, and the combination of these 2 is so great. And we're going to be using some small, about 6 inches in diameter tortillas. I like to use either a corn or a corn and wheat blend. I find that those work best for this recipe. I like to make my tacos in batches and then fry them on the stovetop. We're going to start with the tortillas, grab one of these, and then grab the incredible broth that we drained from earlier and dip the tortilla right in. Want it nicely coated. Oh, that looks good. It's gonna give it some incredible color on the outside. Then grab a generous amount of that delicious beef. We're gonna put it on 1/2. Top it off with some of the queso cheese and some of the mozzarella. Fold these in half. I'm going to preheat the flat griddle on my stove top. You want it to be nice and hot. Add in a little bit of extra oil to make those tortillas extra crispy. Fry the tacos on both sides until they're golden and crispy on the outside, and that cheese should be nicely melted. And then while these are still hot, I like to open up the side that doesn't have all that melted cheese. Drop in a little bit of that cabbage slaw that we prepared earlier. A bit of fresh cilantro, some red onions. And then for serving, you'll want to pour yourself a little bowl of that broth that we saved from earlier. Dip your taco right in. Make sure you get lots of that incredible juice. And dig in. These are so incredibly delicious, just beyond words. The flavor and the texture of that beef, it's so tender, incredibly flavorful, has just a tiny bit of the spiciness coming through from the chipotle chili we added in there. I love the freshness of the cabbage slaw, and then having a little bit of this broth just makes the taco super juicy. Dip it right in. These beef tacos are simply divine, and you're going to fall in love with them from the very first bite. That meat is so incredibly flavorful, juicy. I love having the crispy tortilla on the outside, lots of melty cheese on the inside. This is taco heaven right here. Run to your grocery store, get all the ingredients you need, and enjoy these over the weekend. They are going to be an instant hit. Thank you guys so much for watching my latest episode. I'll see you next time with a new recipe.